What's good, hoop heads? Your courtside analyst Tips and Streams is back in the game. On the slate today, breakdowns for the latest NBA matchups set to light up the hardwood. Before we tip off, make sure you slam that subscribe button on our YouTube channel to stay in the loop with all our predictions and top picks. So, let's get started. The first prediction is for matchup between Miami Heat and Charlotte Hornets. Tonight at Spectrum Center, the Miami Heat, holding a 6-4 record, face off against the Charlotte Hornets, who currently stand at 3-6. The Heat are 3-point favorites, but it's crucial to note their struggle to cover the spread when favored by 3 or more points, with a 0-3 record in such scenarios this season. On the other hand, the Hornets have shown resilience, boasting a 4-2 record against the spread when underdogs by 3 points or more. Analyzing the scoring, Miami averages 109.5 points per game, ranking 26th in the league, and allows 110.3 points per outing, placing them 9th in defensive standings. They also average 42.6 rebounds per game, but are out-rebounded by an average of 2.6 boards per game. The Heat's three-point shooting at 37.4% is 5th best in the NBA, although they make 1.4 fewer threes per game than their opponents. The Hornets, despite their less favorable record, score an impressive 116. 1 points per game, 7th in the NBA, but their defensive struggles are evident as they allow 123.1 points per game, ranking 27th in the league. They fare better in rebounding, averaging 45.4 per game, which is 13th in the league. However, their three-point shooting is a concern, with only 30.3% accuracy, the lowest in the NBA. In terms of home versus away performance, the Heat score slightly less at home, 109.3 PPG, compared to their road games, 109.7 PPG, and allow fewer points at home, 108.0 PPG, compared to away games, 111.8 PPG. The Hornets show a significant drop in scoring at home, 130.0 PPG, compared to their away games, 118.6 PPG. Considering these stats, the Miami Heat's stronger defensive play, and the Hornets' defensive woes, Miami seems poised to win. However, Charlotte's tendency to cover the spread as underdogs, and Miami's struggle to cover as favorites, hint that the Hornets might keep the game closer than expected. Therefore, while the Heat might emerge victorious, the Hornets are likely to cover the spread. Play Charlotte Hornets +4. The next prediction is for the match between Atlanta Hawks and Detroit Pistons. Tonight's showdown at the Little Caesars Arena sees the Atlanta Hawks soaring high with their dynamic offense, squaring off against the struggling Detroit Pistons. Detroit's on a losing skid, dropping 8 in a row and failing to cover the spread in 6 of those. The Pistons pack a punch in rebounding, but the Hawks fly at the same altitude in that department. Atlanta's got the upper hand in most aspects, especially on the offensive end with more efficient plays. Their defense, ranking in the top 10 for forcing turnovers, faces a Pistons offense notorious for its high turnover rate. Recent head-to heats in this arena show the Hawks with a clear edge, having said all 4 matchups last year. The Pistons lag behind in field goal percentage, and their rebounding doesn't outshine Atlanta's. The Hawks' pace, 3rd fastest in the league, contrasts with Detroit's average tempo, setting the stage for a high-speed game with plenty of scoring opportunities. Detroit's league-worst defense against free throws is up against a Hawks offense frequently visiting the charity stripe. Wrapping it up, the Atlanta Hawks are poised for victory, bolstered by their potent offense, solid defense, and a track record of triumphs over the Pistons in this arena. Bet on the Atlanta Hawks, giving up 4.5 points. The next prediction is for the match between Indiana Pacers and Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight, at the Wells Fargo Center, the Philadelphia 76ers, riding high with an 8-1 record and a 6-game winning streak on their home court, gear up to battle the Indiana Pacers, who are hanging tough at 6-4. Philly, riding the momentum, is pegged as a 5-point favorite, with the scoreboard potentially hitting a sky-high total of 240 points. The 76ers have been lighting up the scoreboard, dropping 120.7 points per game, which ranks 3rd in the league, and they've been clamping down on defense, allowing just 109.4 points per game. The spotlight shines on Joel Embiid, who's been a force of nature, racking up 31.0 points, 10.3 boards, and 7.0 assists a night. Tyrese Maxey and Kelly Oubre Jr. have been lethal from downtown and sharp on defense. On the flip side, the Pacers, while not as dominant record-wise, top the scoring charts with 126 points per game, but their defense has been on the shakier side, conceding 123.1 points per game. Tyrese Halliburton is the Pacers' linchpin, leading the charge in scoring and playmaking. Their three-point game is on point, netting 15.8 triples a game. Philly's track record of covering the spread, especially when favored by 5 points or more, along with Indiana's struggles as the underdog in similar scenarios, tilt the odds in favor of the 76ers. With both teams known for their high-octane offense, it looks like they might just blow past the over-under set for tonight. Wrapping it up, the 76ers' all-around prowess and strong stance against the spread point to them as the probable winners, but don't sleep on the Pacers' scoring firepower, which could drive the total points above the line. My call, play Philadelphia 76ers minus 5.5. The next prediction is for the match between Orlando Magic and Brooklyn Nets. The Orlando Magic, ballin' at 6th in the East with a 5-4 game tally, are stepping onto the court with a mix of highs and lows. They've split their last 8 matchups and are even Steven on their last 4 road plays. Fresh off a slammin' 112-97 win against the Milwaukee Bucks, they showed off their hoop skills with a killer offense led by the dynamic duo of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. But the Magic's scoring game is kind of mid, dropping an average of 110.1 points per game on a 45.4% field goal rate with a decent 33.1% from downtown. On the flip side, they're beasting it on defense, ranking 3rd, only allowing 106.1 points per game and keeping the rivals to 46.7% shooting. Yet, they're hitting the court minus some key ballers like Gary Harris and Wendell Carter Jr., who are riding the bench due to injuries. The Brooklyn Nets, sitting at 5-5 and 9th in the East, have been riding a roller coaster, especially in their own house, taking 3 L's in their last 5 home games. But don't sleep on their offense, averaging a solid 113.2 points per game on 45.9% shooting. Cam Thomas is the top gun, dropping an impressive 26.9 points per game, with Mikal Bridges and Lonnie Walker backing him up. Their D-game isn't as tight, giving up about 113.3 points per game. But they're on fire from the three-point line, hitting 37% and grabbing an average of 47.8 boards per game. The Nets are stepping up without Ben Simmons and Cam Thomas, which might shake things up. Looking at their recent face-offs in Brooklyn, both squads have shown they're not afraid to compete. But with Brooklyn's home turf advantage and their sharpshooting, especially beyond the arc, they've got a bit of an upper hand. The Nets' knack for beating the spread, combined with their hot shooting stats, might just tilt the scales in their favor, even against Orlando's tough D. My bet is on the Brooklyn Nets to take the win and cover a minus 2.5 point spread. The next prediction is for the match between San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs, dribbling through a rough patch with a 3-7 scoreboard and a 5-game slump, are the underdogs dribbling against the Thunder. The Thunder, boasting a stronger 6-4 tally, have been splitting the net in their recent 8, even dunking a win over the Phoenix Suns. Scanning the court, the Thunder are acing it on offense, netting an average of 115.9 points and a 49% field score, ranking 4th in the league. They're also sinking threes at a solid 37.5%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder's scoring dynamo, is dropping an average of 29.4 points and dishing out 6.1 assists per game. On the flip side, the Spurs are missing their defensive shots, conceding an average of 124.2 points. Their field goal average is at 47.3%, and they're hitting 35.3% from downtown. Zooming into their recent plays, the Spurs haven't been able to find their rhythm, especially on the road, losing 3 out of their last 5 away games. The Thunder, however, are holding their fort at home, with a mixed bag of wins and losses in their last 6 home games. Comparatively, the Thunder's gameplay seems more balanced than the Spurs. Historically, the Spurs have dominated with a 184 lead in regular season faceoffs. However, the Thunder have been reigning supreme in recent clashes, sweeping all 3 games last season, including a 102-90 triumph in their latest showdown. With the Spurs' defensive game slipping and the Thunder's sharpshooting, especially on their home turf, the odds are tipping in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been consistent in beating the odds and are likely to surpass the spread in this face-off. Their superior field goal stats and home court edge are key factors in this forecast. For those looking to place bets, it's a smart move to back the Oklahoma City Thunder. Given their offensive edge and the Spurs' defensive woes, betting on the Thunder to clinch the win and beat an 8.5-point spread seems like a solid strategy. The next prediction is for the match between Dallas Mavericks and New Orleans Pelicans. Tonight, it's a showdown in the Big Easy, as the Dallas Mavericks take on the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center. Both teams are hungry for a win, and it promises to be an exciting matchup. Let's dive into the stats to see who holds the edge. The Mavericks have been impressive lately, with a field goal percentage of 48.2% in their last 5 home games, while the Pelicans have struggled on the road with a lower 45.9% field goal percentage in their last 5 away games. When it comes to defensive rebounding, the Mavericks have dominated on their home court, grabbing an average of 35.6 defensive rebounds per game, compared to the Pelicans' 32.2 on the road. Now, let's look at their recent head-to-head matchups in New Orleans. In the last 4 games played at the Smoothie King Center, the Mavericks have won 3 times, showcasing their comfort in this environment. The Pelicans have struggled to defend their home turf against Dallas, which is a concerning trend for them. It's important to note that the Mavericks are playing the second game of a back-to-back, while the Pelicans are coming in rested. Historically, the Mavericks haven't fared as well in back-to-back situations, and this could be a factor to consider. Considering the superior field goal percentage and stronger defensive rebounding at home, along with the recent head-to-head success in New Orleans, the Dallas Mavericks appear to have the edge in this matchup. However, the back-to-back game factor could level the playing field a bit. The Pelicans have a chance to capitalize on that. Play Pelicans plus 4. The next prediction is for the match between Portland Trail Blazers and Utah Jazz. On November 14th, 2023, the hardwood sees a showdown between the Trail Blazers and the Jazz as both squads hustle to boost their standings. The Blazers, sitting at 3-6, are grappling with finding their rhythm, particularly away from home, where they've taken hits in 4 out of their last 6 outings. They're clocking in at 106.4 PPG on 44% field shooting, but they're giving up 111.7 points to opponents shooting at 47.3%. Jerami Grant and Shadon Sharp are stepping up, but the Blazers need to tighten their three-point game and amp up their defense. The Jazz, holding a 3-7 tally, are riding a roller coaster of performances, snapping their 4-game skid with a win over the Grizzlies. They're racking up 113.9 PPG on 46.1% shooting. Yet, their defense is leaking, letting through 121.6 points on 49.2% shooting. Despite solid plays from Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson, they've got to patch up their defense. Historically, the Blazers have the upper hand against the Jazz, particularly in Utah's domain, but current form and stats suggest the Jazz might have a slight upper hand at home. Both teams are battling injuries, but the Jazz's slightly sharper offense and home turf might tip the scales. I'm banking on the Trail Blazers to either snag a win or at least keep it close, covering the 7-point spread. Play Portland Trail Blazers plus 7. The next prediction is for the match between Los Angeles Clippers and Denver Nuggets. In tonight's Hoops showdown at Ball Arena, the court's set for a thrilling matchup between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers, in a bit of a slump with a 3-6 tally and riding a 5-game skid, are the clear underdogs facing the Nuggets. Denver's on fire, leading the Western Conference with a stellar 8-2 record. They've been a defensive juggernaut, ranking 5th in the league by conceding only 101 points per game, while also making their mark in offense, averaging 114.8 points. However, it's been a rough ride for the Clippers. They're lagging in 18th place for rebounds and are particularly struggling with turnovers, ranking 27th. Paul George has been a beacon of hope, averaging 25.4 points per game. Yet their recent showdowns with the Nuggets don't paint a hopeful picture, losing their last 6 matchups. While the Clippers have shown some spark, ranking 7th in field goal, and three-point percentages, they falter in fast break points, opponent scoring, rebounding, and especially turnovers. The Nuggets, on the other hand, are in top form. Nikola Jokic is expected to spearhead their charge, and even with Jamal Murray sidelined due to a hamstring strain, Reggie Jackson is stepping up effectively. Looking at their recent face-offs at Ball Arena, the Nuggets have been dominating, clinching victories in their last 4 encounters against the Clippers. Taking into account both teams' current form, comparative stats, and past performances at Ball Arena, the Nuggets are poised for victory. Their superior field goal percentage and rebounding prowess give them the edge. My bet is on the Denver Nuggets, giving 5.5 points. The next prediction is for the match between Minnesota Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors. In tonight's high-octane NBA showdown, the Minnesota Timberwolves, flaunting an impressive 7-2 record, are set to clash with the Golden State Warriors, who are currently 6-5 at the Chase Center. This matchup is crucial for both squads, as they're gunning to dominate their divisions. The Timberwolves, riding the momentum of a 6-game hot streak, have been a defensive powerhouse, topping the league with the stingiest opponent shooting percentage and dominating in defensive boards. Offensively, they're not slacking either, with a solid 49.0% field goal percentage that puts them third in the NBA. On the flip side, the Warriors, despite netting a respectable 114.0 points per game, are lagging behind with a 44.8% shooting efficiency and struggling to rack up points in the paint. But their defense is holding strong, ranking in the top 10 for limiting opponent shooting and three-pointers. The uncertainty around Stephen Curry's playtime, nursing a knee injury, throws a curveball into the Warriors' game plan. Looking back at their last season face-offs, it's been a neck-and-neck race with both teams snagging 2 wins each. But the Timberwolves have the upper hand in recent memory, having edged out the Warriors 116-110, handing them a triple losing streak and a blow to their home court prowess. This sets the stage for a captivating rematch. The current dynamics tilt in favor of the Timberwolves, considering their form and the Warriors' hiccups, especially if Curry sits out. Yet, I reckon it's a tall order to outplay the same team back-to-back, particularly away and against a team of Golden State's caliber. Wrapping up, the Timberwolves might look like the stronger team at the moment, but the Warriors are masters of adaptation. My bet is on the Warriors switching gears, playing a different game than before, and pulling off a win. My pick here is to back the Golden State Warriors with a minus 1.5 point spread. The last prediction for today is for the match between Memphis Grizzlies and Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight's Hoops Showdown features the Memphis Grizzlies clashing with the Los Angeles Lakers at the Crypto.com arena. Tip-off at 10:30 p.m. EDT. Riding high off a tight 105-101 triumph over the Clippers, the Grizzlies are eyeing another road win, their third in a row. They're dropping an average of 108.6 points a game, hitting 42% from the field and 31.7% beyond the arc. Their defense, though, has been giving up 114. 1 points on average, a chink in their armor. Road struggles have seen them lose 3 out of their last 5, and they're feeling the pinch without Ja Morant, Steven Adams, and other key players sidelined by injuries and suspensions. On the other side, the Lakers are riding the momentum of a 116-110 win over Portland. They're balancing at 5-5, showing grit with a flawless 4-0 record at home. Their sharpshooting at 47.6% is overshadowing the Grizzlies. Even with LeBron James's participation up in the air due to a calf injury, Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell have been picking up the slack, keeping the Lakers competitive. In recent face-offs in LA, the Lakers have been the alpha, boasting a 4-game home winning streak. This home court advantage could be a game-changer tonight. Yet it's crucial to note that the Grizzlies have been more formidable on the road lately, eager to stretch their away winning streak to 3. Considering home turf and shooting prowess, the Lakers appear to have the upper hand in this clash. They've proven their mettle even sans LeBron, with other players rising to the occasion. The call is for a Lakers victory, beating the spread. Bet on the Los Angeles Lakers at minus 5.5. All right, hoopheads, that's the buzzer for today's predictions. Big thanks for rolling with us. If you're vibing with our picks, slam that subscribe button and get on board. Catch you on the court tomorrow. Peace.